Can you guys hear me? Oh my goodness. So okay, we're 9 minutes in. You guys can barely hear me. Okay, hang on. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. This is exactly why I stopped before I move on. I'm sorry about that. Let me know if you guys can hear me before I move forward. Jeez, I can't believe I just did that. Okay, you guys can hear me. Sorry about that. Oh, see that's exactly why I do what I do. I like to just, kind of talk about a little thing before I dive into the details. Man, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So all I was doing, just to round up. So if somebody, I'm probably have to fix in the back end. So I guess this video is not really starting until 9 minutes in. Man. So all I really did was just talk about all the coins, how they're performing. In a nutshell, let me just share the screen, actually. I don't know why I'm sharing this the wrong way. Let me share my actual chart. Okay. Let me share that chart, make sure we're good here. Let me maximize this. Yeah, so all I really did just to get things started was I just talked about the other coins just to see how bad they were doing. Long story short, everything is down 40 to 60%. Everything's performing horribly. Hex, we are up 16%. So the bear market started early May, and that's where I tracked everything. So ever since the bear market started, Hex is up 16%, fresh off a pullback. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about anything else. I was being generous. I gave the other coins about 5 to 6 minutes of our time. And it just wasn't meant to be. That's just a sign, I guess. I was muted for a reason. We don't need to hear about the trash coins. But long story short, the bear market is in full effect for every typical coin, which is almost all of them, except for the coin like Hex, the one and the only. Hex is pumping, making all-time highs, while everything else is down 40 to 60%. Just another day in the office. And we are creating a healthy correction, ladies and gentlemen. So when I was here, June 24th was the last time I streamed. I'll kind of recap where we were at and what we talked about, and then where we're going now. So, make sure okay, you guys can hear me. Thank you, guys. I can't believe. See, I was missing all those comments too. I need to have like an assistant on my channel that can help me just go through the comments and keep me centered. It's kind of hard to juggle because I'm a guy that gets straight to the charts and everything. I'm not really tech savvy with all the comments and checking the stream details and technicals, but I'm good with the chart technicals, and that's what matters most. Okay, so June 24th, we were right in this area, 26.524. So we were right here, this candle, okay? And let me go to the 4-hour chart so I can be more specific about where we were at and what we talked about, because this is very key, what we did. So grab this. So right around here is where we were at. So we were pumping live on stream, and it looked like we were fresh off the wick. So when I told you guys, if we break this 777 range, we were going to come down and touch 6.4 pennies. The wick touched that on a lot of exchanges, just not on TradingView. I'm using TradingView for my charts, okay? But the wick touched that, and I said maybe that was the touch that we needed, but I wasn't fully confident in that, just because whenever you see price action, you don't want a wick to be the reason why, or you don't want a wick to be the touch that you were looking for, just because wicks, it's short and sweet. They're too quick. That's not a lot of healthy steady money being sold and then bought right away. Markets like to move in a nice healthy wave pattern. Wicks do happen, don't get me wrong, but when wicks happen, I just see those as kind of like a forecast of where price is going to go. So the reason why I said that we weren't going to really pump too much yet on last stream is because we did get a 6.4 penny touch, but it was only a wick, so I wanted to be shocked to see the price come down. What I wanted to see in an ideal world was like a 3 to 5 wave move to get us down there, and that's kind of what we saw. So from the top, we had our wave 1, wave 2 was a correction, wave 3 made a lower low. Wave 4 was literally where we were at on stream, and that's why I said I wouldn't be surprised to see a 5th wave down. Ideally, just to kind of cure my OCD, I would like to see this gray range be filled. That didn't happen, but we did have another push down before the next impulse up. Okay, so we've been walking this down for a long time now. If you guys have been watching my streams for the past 4 to 5 weeks since I started, we've been walking every single move. We've been pretty spot on. It's good. This is fun. This is fun stuff. And I like when the markets aren't just so crazy bullish, because whenever the markets are going up, it's easy for everyone to get on and be like, oh, price is going here, just because all you got to do is just say a number that's higher than where we're at, and Hex usually achieves that. But it's not as fun for the people like me. I'm very technical about it. I like to see the markets move a certain way. So when we start correcting and pulling back for days or weeks at a time, this is where I have the most fun, and this is where I feel like I can provide the most value, because I like to just give a clear perspective in these moments, because I know there's a lot of new people in crypto that have been onboarded into Hex that don't know much about how the charts work, how the markets work, and things of that nature. And then people that check Staker app 20 times a day, and they don't know what to think when the price is going down. They wake up every day. I mean, although we do see new all-time highs almost every day, it seems like, but for the days when we wake up and don't see those all-time highs, people kind of want to know, like, what should I expect? Why is it going down? And understanding too that when the market does pull back, it's healthy. I see it kind of like a slingshot. The only way you're really going to get that force to shoot that rock super far is when you pull the string back. When you pull that string back, it creates tension. When you build enough tension, that's when price explodes off of that. So it's kind of like a slingshot. So when the market impulses, it corrects. So for people that don't know, markets are literally just impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction, impulse. Like in a bull market, when things are moving up in an uptrend or whatever. So when you guys hear me talk about impulse, that just means the price shoots one way, and the correction just means after a huge impulse, it's just loading up for the next one. Well, on those corrections, that's the slingshot. That's when, you shoot the rock this far, then you grab that rock, pull it back in the slingshot, let go, release, boom, it just flies, and just keep pulling it. Pull back, pull back. So those corrections are called pullbacks for that reason. So when we see these pullbacks, these are healthy things. And this is what I wanted to see in Hex before we started breaking those new levels. Because don't get me wrong, we're all Hexicans. We want to see our portfolios just grow and multiply like how it has been. But being, a technical analysis guy, I do like to see healthy structure. I like to see certain zones get hit. So what we are building from last week and what I can expect to see now, there's two things. And I know it's probably not ideal. It goes one of two ways, up or down, right? So I'm going to show you guys both. If we are on the grand scheme of things, this is what we're seeing. Just to reiterate what I've been talking about the past few weeks, we are in a 5-wave pattern on the daily chart overall, like in the whole lifespan of Hex. We're seeing something like this, and this is clear as day. So we'd had wave 1, wave 2, which is the pullback. Wave 3 is the impulse. Wave 4 is the pullback. That's why I see this area get touched just where previous price action sat. That would just make me, with my OCD, feel good about wave 5 just spring way up. But it's still going on. Life is still going on without it regardless. So right now we are in the midst of a wave pattern. I'm in a 5-wave Elliott pattern. We are in the midst of a 5th wave. So if everything just stays bullish in an ideal world, this is what I expect to see. Because when you create these 3 to 5 wave patterns, the market on the higher time frame chart, like the daily chart, they create one pattern. But if you go to the smaller time frames, you'll see smaller patterns within the patterns. So in the midst of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave pattern, we might be creating a 3rd wave right here, or a 3-wave pattern, or another 5 wave inside this 5th wave, which is something like this. The first impulse, correction. The next impulse can be right off this level, push up to maybe all-time highs again, or even 10 pennies, maybe correct down to somewhere in this rectangle. Oh, whoops. Somewhere in this rectangle. Let me get that chart. So pull back down here and then push up to that 11-cent range that I've been talking about for a while. We could be seeing something like that. But if I'm going to be really, really honest, I would not be shocked. So that we're at a key level right now. We are under the 777 penny range as we speak, and we still haven't filled this gray range yet. So I would not be shocked to see a nice, strong 3-wave pattern complete down here. It would just make me feel so much better about this if I just saw this area get filled in before the next push up. That would confirm that we're going to go way, way up. But from the top, so on the 5-wave pattern, the daily we're creating, if in the midst of the 4th wave, if we're still in that correction on the long scheme of things, we could see something like this. Wave 1, wave 2 tops here. Wave 3 brings us into this range. We get a lot of price just fulfilling this area. It could be a quick 3-wave move, and then we explode. Who knows? If the fundamentals line up, perfectly with the technicals, we might see this go hand in hand with like the PulseChain sacrifice phase. Who knows? In a perfect world, though, I mean, I think all of us, we would prefer if the price can just pump up now before the PulseChain sacrifice phase. For those of us that are sacrificing Hex, we want to maximize that dollar. Oh, excuse me. But I would not be shocked to see us still fill in the 6.4 penny range. It makes me feel so much better about that. But let me show you guys a couple things as to why that doesn't need to happen for price to go up. Because if we go way back, and now I have to pull up another chart for this real quick. I'm going to go to the chart all the way from April 2020 when Hex went just stupid crazy and did a 10x in a matter of a few weeks. 1 second. I'm going to pull up another chart for you guys. The Hex USDC. Let me share the screen with you guys and show you why we don't need to see perfect technicals for Hex to pump all over again. Where we at? Hang on, let me share this. Let me pause this. Share my screen. Okay. So if we go back to, this is the entire lifespan of Hex. Let me maximize this. If we go all the way back to April, I mean, look at this. So for the technical analysis people, technicals only get you so far. You know, you can't predict the entire future. You can only project certain levels. So when we had this massive impulse, this impulse never got fully corrected, right? So in an ideal world, so say we did like a 5-wave pattern or something like this. So we did 1, wave 2, wave 3 was this massive one. You want to see wave 4 come at least fill half this imbalance in, or at least get back down to where the price used to be before you see that 5th wave. Clearly that didn't happen. So that's what Hex is capable of. So if we're just trying to project levels to buy, don't take my word for take it with a grain of salt, I guess, because we don't necessarily need to fulfill these levels. Those are just the levels that would make me feel super good about the next pump, and it'd make me feel good about timing the exact, maybe day and time of when it could happen. Okay, so let me switch back to this other chart. I just need to show you guys that for a second. And I'll get to the comments in a little bit too. So yeah, going back to this chart, let me maximize it. I would love to see, and keep in mind too, we do have a lot more liquidity now than what we had, back in April 2020. So usually when there's a lot more liquidity in the market, the technicals usually do follow a lot, smoother, and things do kind of go according to plan. But anything can happen. But yeah, so in an ideal world, I still want to see the 6.4 penny range get filled. If it doesn't, great, we're all getting paid. If it does, perfect, because I'm going in on that dip. If this was a perfect world, I'd say bam, wave 1, wave 2, wave 3 down here. Just fill us up, give us, a nice day or two in this range, let us buy, pump up, go back to 10 cents, and then bam, PulseChain, just the sacrifice phase start right here. Get that, you put some dry powder on this last dip. That's probably the one and final dip under 10 pennies we'll ever get before we, go ahead and just go 10 penny and maybe never look back, right? But like I said, we could very well be seeing the opposite. We could see this could be the pullback that we needed. It didn't come to my specific range, but it did come down far enough, and we could be creating a new 5 or 3 to 5 wave pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 10 cents, and then from there we're going to kind of mess around, and then bam, we'll have a huge impulse, right? So that's what I'm seeing in Hex right now. Nothing too much different. I know I talk about a lot of the same stuff, because when I talk about previous price, back, months or years ago, that doesn't change. So I'm not going to just keep this super repetitive and go over that, every single stream, but I do want to at least, give you guys that idea. Also too, something to keep in mind of where we're at right now, we are at a very key price level. So to help you guys figure out how to find out key price levels, you want to see where, candlesticks touch. So, and especially wicks. If prices wick somewhere, that means big money got in and out real quick. So if it touches a certain area, there's money sitting here. For example, when in June 8th, we saw this first wick up to about almost 8 pennies, right here. That's a key level, because if you notice, it came back down, then price came up again. You see another wick right here. So that just shows us that is another key level. We broke through it. If we zoom in super close, the first candle ripped up, but before it went up, it wicked down. So this is a resistance line, meaning that these candles under it couldn't break through it. But once you break the resistance line, you flip it to a support line. You like to see a break and retest, and that's what happened. So we broke and retested it. The very next candle came out, almost ripped through, but price, held the steady support line. So now we know that this level right here is a key level. The reason why I bring that up, because let's forward to the future now. Price came back down again, didn't necessarily touch. We went up, hit our we hit 9.8 pennies roughly, and then we came down. This one massive institutional candle that just ripped down, that got bought up. Well, where did that level hit? Ironically enough, it went straight off this exact level that we had these previous wicks. So history shows us a lot of data that, can help us project and forecast, levels to buy at in the future and levels to expect in the future. But it doesn't stop there. There's a reason why I had this level pointed out, because, the institutional candle hit, got respected 100%, shot back up to 10 pennies. Well, you fast forward to the future now. A couple more weeks go by, or like a week or so goes by, price comes back down. What happens? Price comes down, taps it, wicks it again. Wicks the exact area, comes up. Life goes on, another 8 to 12 hours passes. A massive wick drop down. That's like a manipulation wick to me. But they couldn't rip through this level at all. That was the 6.4 penny rip we're looking for. But it still stayed above this level. Keep fast forwarding. Price, whoops. Let's make this a little bit more straight. Keep fast forwarding. Price comes down. The candle respects it, pumps up. It tries to rip through it, almost does, but respects it. So this level's still holding strong. Fast forward a little bit further. Now we finally broke it. We flipped it, turned it from a support line into a resistance line. We broke it, flipped it, respected it, ran down. Came back up, the same exact level, got respected, but we finally ripped it, and then just, we've been up. Now we're fast forwarding till today. Where are we at? We are exactly here, ladies and gentlemen. So I would not be shocked to see Hex respect this. If Hex respects this, which it very well may, this might be the level to buy at. So if I'm an investor right now, which I am, there's a couple. Ideally, in a perfect world, I want the dip to come all the way down to 6.4 pennies, but I am not playing with fire. I'm not risking not buying and missing out on a sub 10 cent Hex just because I want to get greedy and wait for an extra penny. That penny's not going to make a difference when we're dollars one day, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not financial advice by any means. So do your own research, just take what I say with a grain of salt, but I would not be playing with fire. I would buy this dip myself, and I'm also going to buy this dip myself. And you know what? When Hex pumps and breaks 10 pennies, I'm buying the next dip above 10 cents, When Hex breaks a quarter and pulls back down to 17 cents, I'm buying that dip. When Hex takes $1 and drops back down to 75 cents, I'm buying that dip. When Hex hits $10 and drops back down to $5, I'm buying that dip, So the cool thing about Hex is the price performs well, right? The chart is a beautiful looking chart. It is healthier than any other chart in crypto, but Hex is not the most valuable thing in Hex. It's those T-shares. So if you buy Hex at $1, $100, 10 cents, 5 cents, the purpose of it, you have to just kind of go in with that mindset of just thinking long and stake long. You want to stake, earn those T-shares, and get paid Hex for staking, right? So say, you're trying to just put a little chunk of money and say you want to put $100 in the Hex, and that gets you, that might get you like, let's just say we're at 10 cents, $100 gets you 1,000 Hex, for example. Instead of buying Hex, 1,000 Hex every time, the dip comes or whatnot and putting your own money in, you just buy it one time, stake long, and those T-shares, depending on how much you get, can pay you the same amount of Hex over the next few months or years without you putting your own money in. So if you are an investor, you're trying to get into crypto, you're new to crypto, you're trying to figure out what Hex is, do not treat Hex with the same mindset you treat every other crypto with. Hex is not the same beast. We are on the blockchain. Don't get me wrong. We are a cryptocurrency, but we are not the same beast. Hex is just something totally different. Hex is just a totally different financial product that this world has not seen yet on the blockchain. This is just something the world has not seen. This is an invention. Inventions are something new to the world. So what comes with being a new invention is a lot of misunderstanding. A lot of people just don't understand it yet. But for someone that's just trying to get in, just do not treat Hex with the same mindset you treat, buying Bitcoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin with. When the price goes down, be grateful for that, because the price doesn't go down that often. If we are lucky enough to get a 6.4 penny touch, that's a blessing. That really is a blessing for all of us. If not, we're still under 10 cents. Hex has every reason to be dollars right now, right? Hex has every reason to be one of the most expensive cryptocurrencies. The only reason why it isn't is because people are just finding out about Bitcoin in 2020 and 2021. How long do you think, I mean, it probably won't even take them that long to learn about Hex. But if it took people, over 10 years to finally get the average person, the masses, to understand or just hear about Bitcoin, it will take some time for people to hear about Hex. And then once they hear about it, it's just so complex that it takes time for people to understand it. But if you're in Hex, you're trying to get into Hex, just understand that you don't need to understand it to make that investment into it. This is not financial advice, but T shares are still available right now. Those are trillion shares. So if you could get your hand on a T share to pay yourself basically residual income via interest for the next 10, 15 years, it's a smart decision. It's a wise decision. Don't invest money you can't lose. Don't invest money don't stake money for 15 years that you might need in the next 2-3 weeks, but if you are getting into crypto, just understand that Hex is just a whole different beast, and there's an actual purpose to it. Hex, we don't just need people to buy for it to go up, and that's the only quality to it. No, there's more to it that no other cryptos really have to offer, and there's other coins that pop up here and there. A lot of coins in the rug factory that Richard calls it on the Binance Smart Chain, but those things just aren't Hex. You can check the code; it's out there, hex.com. You can see all the details. You can see all the rebuttals that Richard even posts about it. There really isn't a bad thing about it. Usually there's a pro and a con to everything in this world. There is not a con to Hex. And I've tried to find it. I've really tried my hardest. Whenever you hear about something new, especially in crypto, it's only rational for people to kind of be skeptical on stuff like that. But with Hex, that was me when I first heard about it. I'm like, I just have to, it sounds too good to be true. I just have to figure out what is the catch. There isn't a catch. You mint your own coin. You do every transaction yourself. There's no middleman involved. You are responsible for all your own decisions. If you want to lock your money up for 15 years, you know damn well that if you end that stake early, you're losing all of it. That's nobody's fault but your own. But you know that before you make that stake. If you don't want to make that commitment, you can make a one-day stake, get in and get out. Go ahead and do that if you want to. But the good thing about Hex is, like, just because the rules are just so straight to the point that if you end your stake early, you lose everything, that doesn't make it scammy or there's no reason to be skeptical. No, that's every reason to believe in the product, because you're probably not, if you're buying and investing your money in staking long term, you're not the only person. And then when the world transforms to a more of a digital world and currencies kind of start going digital in this world, people are going to want to find that, certificate of deposit on the blockchain and whatnot. Well, Hex already has that, and we're just kind of steering away from traditional banks. So the fact that there's a product in this world where you can earn interest by saving your money, and all you have to do to earn that interest is just stay true and stay honest to how long you commit to saving it for, you're getting paid more. You can do that without going through a bank, without having a bank take your money and lend that money out and do whatever they want and use you, as a liability. You go and do that yourself. And the way that this works is Hex, everyone knows this. I'm here for the technicals. I know that, but Hex just inflates that 3.69% every year. That inflation goes to the stakers. So the same way the Federal Reserve inflates the U.S. dollar and prints free dollars and gives them to banks, well, Hex does that on the blockchain, except we are the banks. We are the Federal Reserve on the blockchain, except we are the ones winning. We're reaping that reward. We're reaping the benefit. And by the time big money and institutions and, the real whales of the blockchain get in, the prices are going to be dollars. And then we're going to be the ones that benefit the most, but only if we hold. So the only way you can commit to holding, and the best way to reward yourself for holding, is just get that T-share. Once you lock it up for 5 days, you have no choice but to hold it. And that's the best way to do it. So the people that don't like Hex at a penny probably love it at 10 pennies right now, or 7 pennies right now. The people that still don't love it at 7 pennies, they're gonna love it at $1. The people that are like, when we get to $1, well, they're gonna love it at $10. And guess who's gonna win? The people like us that are here now. So let me check a few of the comments, and then I'll go back into some more of the charts and everything. Yeah, I can't believe that audio thing happened earlier. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Crypto Panda? What's up, Hex Champ? What's up, Sammy? What's up, Rated Hex? Skork? Where's everybody from? Where's everybody tuning in from tonight? I know Hex is global. So where's everyone from in this chat? Are we based in different countries today? I know I see Sammy from Australia. We have Anybody in America here tonight? What country are we tuning in from? What country? What city? I want to see where everyone's at. I want to see how far this thing is growing. This is pretty cool to see everybody that's in Hex. And what I want to do eventually, I want to go through the charts. I want to start bringing some special guests on here to talk about Hex with me, because there's a lot of valuable information that I know a lot of the right minds. One of my guys is out there, JG. I know you're out there somewhere. We have to get on stream. There's a very unique mind. I found out a lot of these people on the PulseChain network, or on the PulseChain chat on Telegram. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So what do we got? Costa Rica. Wow. Welcome from Costa Rica. Austin, Texas. Hex Champ, Australia. Shout out to Australia. North America. Well, that narrows it down to a big chunk of the world, but welcome. Vegas. Extremely desirable from Vegas. That's pretty nice. So I'm assuming you met everybody up in Vegas. So Melbourne, Texas. There you are, JD. It's good. Vermont. Well, yeah, me, myself, I am currently in Chicago at the moment. But so yeah, so let's check a couple things, and I'll go back to the cities. Fort Worth, Texas. Shout out to Fort Worth. A lot of people from Texas here tonight. Welcome. So another thing I want to check. So the Hex against Ethereum chart. Let me make sure my chart's still on here. So we talked a few things on here. And let's see where price is kind of at and where it's going. Let me delete these lines that I left on last stream. What we wanted to see. So for the people that weren't paying attention, this is a very key one, because like Hex against the US dollar, I think anything against the US dollar is going to go up nowadays. I think it's just consistently going down. But Hex against other powerful coins in the market really shows the true strength of it. And this is gorgeous. So Hex against Ethereum, which I feel, you know, numbers show other coins here and there performing well, but overall Ethereum's been performing pretty well for all the big name, cryptocurrencies. And Hex is outperforming Ethereum for the past few months. I mean, ever, but especially lately. So the previous all-time high was back in October of 2020. We've been under that, you know, for 6, almost 7 months. And we've been price trapped all the way at these lows. I said this plenty of times in my last stream. We broke the price trap, started a 5-wave Elliott pattern fresh off of that. Wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. So now we're kind of correcting, and we're going to start a new wave here soon. The thing that stands out about this is wave 5 broke the all-time highs. That's what you want to see in a healthy chart. You want to see that fifth and final wave rip through all of history's data and just create new data, and that's exactly what we did. So it's completely normal for us to break that. Hex against Ethereum has never been this high in its entire lifetime. So what I was talking about happening was flipping this previous all-time high into a support line, which we kind of held for a while. But we're still doing a healthy correction. Ideally, I didn't want to break under this all-time high level, but as you can see, this blue line is the all-time high. So we finally ripped through it, right? So first we saw the test. It touched it, resistance line, it respected it, came back down. We finally ripped it. Once we ripped it, we broke it, retested it, and shot up. Impulse correction. And that happens every chart you look at. You're going to see the same wave patterns. It happens everywhere. So, and if people are trying to learn the charts, it's just repetition. If you're just looking at the charts, and don't look at it like a trader and put your emotion into it and trade your money, just don't do that. But if you're trying to look to genuinely understand and learn, looking at it all the time, you'll see the same patterns in every single chart. But we broke the all-time highs, flipped it to a support line, respected it, shot up. We've been trading high, turned sideways for a little bit. This is when Hex hit 9.8 pennies and kind of started slowing down a little bit. And then, price shot down a few wicks. Bam, we wicked the all-time high, came up. Second time, all-time high, came up. Third time, all-time high, came up. Fourth time, we came down, broke it, closed under it, came right up. Fifth time, sixth time, 7, 8, 9. We finally broke it the 10th time. Usually they say the third time's the charm, but when you're going against Hex, it might take 10 plus tries. But even then, so I don't think we're going to push any lower here. The reason why is look at all of this price action we have right here. I mean, we need to put an oval on this thing. This is a lot of money sitting here. So it's almost like you can't be shocked to see price come back to this level. The best way to find a level inside this area is just go to where all you see pick one line where you see the line where you see price touch the most, right? And clearly that's right here. Wick. Price touches, broke through, resistance, flip, bam, bam, bounce, flipped under, respect it, came down, respected it, finally broke it. So this red line I just drew, I can't say I want to be shocked because it's already happening, but price is here right now. And as you can tell, we fast forward, we came down and wicked it one time, came back again over here, wicked it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tries before we finally broke through it. And now we have an hour and 20 left on this candle to kind of see where we're at. So we're at a very key point, and a lot of this has to do with how Ethereum's performing. Ethereum's been doing pretty well the past 24 to 48 hours. Overall, hasn't been doing well, but I would not still be shocked to see Hex finally break out of this bull flag. And this is like a perfect pennant bull flag pattern we're creating. So if we want to create some brand new technicals, let me show you guys a comparison real quick, because this is something special. So let me just delete these lines. I don't want it to be too messy. But so first thing I want to show you guys is Hex. Let me go to Hex USD. I think this chart's more clean than my other one. Yeah, this one's not too recent. So look at this old 2021 target when I first got into Hex, and that thing just completely blew my yeah, we were trading like around. I thought breaking 2 pennies was an ultimate goal a long time ago, and sure enough, here we are, quadruple that. But anyways, so we all knew this massive bull flag. Let me get 2021 target out of there so people don't look at like the thumbnail or something and think that's where I'm going. But so look at this pattern we have right here, right? Let me get my brush. So we had this beautiful bull flag back in May. We all saw that happen. We had the huge impulse, and we created that perfect flag pattern. There's the flag pull. There's the flag. What happens after you create a bull flag? You shoot right up. That's what we did. We shot up, kind of came down, bam, right? Well, look at that. Look what we're forming on this Hex Ethereum chart as we speak right now. This is very, very similar. So after this big impulse we had, we didn't really have a huge correction. This was the start of one, but we didn't have that picture-perfect bull flag that Hex USD gave us. But look what we're having now. We're talking this impulse. The flag, though, that was way off the line. Draw the flag pull there. We are drawing out a perfect flag right now. This is more of a pennant. It's kind of like a little like descending triangle type of thing. But a pennant, a flag, same thing. What happens? You want to see that flag kind of come down, touch previous price action. Where we're at around here, just keep wiggle its way down, make some waves, and then bam, just explode. So what the data is telling us right now, just looking at the numbers, Hex against the US dollar is getting ready to explode literally any minute now, ideally down here. But like I said, we already talked about this red line here. I wouldn't be shocked to see it just pump up, bam, bam. So the data against the US dollar is showing us it's getting ready to explode. We've been channeling here for a good 3 weeks now, and that's that. Usually Hex kind of pulls back for 2 to 3 weeks at a time before it makes this next move. Very healthy structure, but against the Ethereum chart too, we are pulling back. The data is showing us we are literally getting primed. This is like we're getting ready for takeoff. You know when they have those spaceships take off, how prepared they are. They put everything into it, make sure the takeoff is the most important part. Especially too flying airplanes. Like I think it's like 75% of the actual like gas and energy in the engine is used on takeoff. But once you kind of just take off, you ride that momentum up. Well, right now, all that tension is literally getting prepared for takeoff. We're prepping, making sure we got everything right, everything aligned before we explode. So the data against Ethereum looking very healthy. The data against the US dollar looking even healthy. So give me 1 second. I have to show you. I have a special guest for you guys. Get ready for this. So I am a father. This is my daughter. Her name is Jellybean. Can you guys see me? Hang on. Say hi. Say hi, Jelly. You hear? Oh yeah. Yeah, she's not shy. She's very social. So she was just bothering me right now. She wanted to get on stream real quick. So this is the baby. So if you guys see Jenkinz, just know Jenkinz has the daughter. We got Jenkinz, we got Cakes, and we got Jellybean. We got a family growing out here. Okay, baby, you have to go somewhere. I had to introduce her real quick. But yeah, let me get you back to the charts. Yeah, the data's really lining up really, really well right now. I think I shared the wrong chart with you guys. Yeah, 1 second. I'm going to go back and check these comments real quick too before I go back to the chart now that I'm already here. But yeah, Hex against Ethereum, Hex against the US dollar. It's really loading up. We're getting ready for takeoff. So it's just a matter of time. If you're trying to buy the dip, don't mess around trying to pinpoint, get it exactly. A few cents here and there isn't going to make a massive difference in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, so let me check some comments real quick. Fort Worth, Texas. Yeah, a lot of Hexicans in Texas. A lot of Everything's in Texas. I feel if you're in America, all the cool stuff's in Texas. I've never been to Texas in my life, by the way, so I have to come down there. Fort Myers, Florida. Welcome, Fort Myers. Let's see. Yeah, what's going? Austin, Texas. South America, Black Square. Shout out to South America. Welcome to the stream. Okay, cool. Let's see, we got buckle up. Yeah, get ready for takeoff. Yeah, here we go. JG, good take right here. Let me share this with you guys. I forgot I can share comments, but yeah, Jenkins, we touched the 7.3, 7.4 penny region. That's our bottom trend, and we're prepared for takeoff. I agree 110% with you. Yeah, shout out to Jelly Bean. I usually notice at 6 a.m. when it dips hard. Well, it really depends on where you're at. Maybe you dropped your town rated Hex earlier. Maybe, I'm not sure, but California, shout out to California. There should be a count. Yeah, there should be a conference in Texas, but yeah, so that's Hex against Ethereum. So that's what to expect going forward. I'll just kind of give you guys a quick recap for the people that just tuned in, but I don't really have much else outside of that. Keep it short and simple. Yeah, we're in the midst of the 5-wave pattern still. We've been walking this down for the past few weeks. This is the wave. This is the second wave, the third wave, the fourth. No, I got that the wrong way. I'm trying to just like project it. So that was the first big wave, the bull flag. Second wave, third wave, fourth wave, fifth wave. We're creating this fifth wave right now, whether that's literally right here, right now, off the 7.5 penny line, or for me, being the OCD I am, I would like it down here. But we're in the midst. We're either ending this fourth wave literally as we speak, or we're ending this fourth wave in the next few days, and then we are getting ready for takeoff. And I feel like, I don't know, Richard Hart has a few tricks up his sleeve. There's just no way Richard Hart, just knowing the man and just knowing his genius and just knowing how well he strategizes with his game theory, I just don't see Hex being at 6 to 7 cents when PulseChain drops. I see Hex just pumping, like a 10-cent Hex just makes too much sense by the time PulseChain sacrifice phase drops, right? Because it's a win-win for Richard and PulseChain. It's a win-win for all the investors and all the Hexicans too. Because if we're sacrificing our liquid Hex, we want it to be at the highest price possible when we do drop it, right? Also for Richard, that's a lot more money going into his project. And he has too many tricks up his sleeve. He knows a lot of things that none of us know. So I would just bank on, no matter what's going on now, don't worry. Whether we're at 7.4, 6.5, I fully expect Hex to be, floating around 9 to 10 cents by the time the PulseChain sacrifice phase does open up. And there's a lot of strategies that go along into that too. So, let's see. What's up, Rick? Welcome to the chat. Chart looking good to buy some. Yeah, it's always a good time to buy Hex. There's never a bad time to buy Hex. So, outside of that, that is really what I have. If you guys have any questions, concerns, or comments, just drop them in the chat now. I'm going to wrap this up here soon. I'm going to wrap this up a special way, though. For those of you guys that were on my stream last night, I know a few of you were. If you guys were on my Twitch stream last night on the Beats with Bay channel, I make beats, and you guys are familiar. I'm gonna do an outro of the beat that we just started working on, to kind of celebrate ending this chat. What's up, Trey? Let's talk strategies for sacrifice. All right, if you want strategies for sacrifice, so it all depends. There's a lot of ways of going about it. This is not financial advice, but I think my strategy I have going into PulseChain sacrifice is, so before PulseChain was announced, before Ethereum had all of its issues with the gas fees and everything, I was one of those guys that was 110% staked. Everything was staked. There was no reason for me to have Hex out not being staked. Because the T-share is the most valuable part. But now that the sacrifice phase is being announced and coming out soon, I've been accumulating liquid Hex and whatnot. The strategy I just really have is that all liquid Hex I have now, I am going to just sacrifice it. I don't see the point of having liquid Hex if you're not going to sacrifice it. Like, don't get me wrong, holding liquid Hex, the price will go up. And you're going to still, reap that reward. But why don't you just allow the price to go up, still reap that reward on that, and make extra Hex on top of that? But for sacrifice phase, nothing too crazy. I've been talking about my strategy the past couple weeks. Just storing a decent amount of liquid Hex, and I'm going to sacrifice Hex. I don't think the origin address of PulseChain or whatever, the sacrifice address is going to sell. It's Richard. If it's Richard Hart again, why would he sell those coins? I do think he's going to sell all the other coins that are donated or sacrificed. like, you know, like BNB or ADA Ethereum, whatever does get sacrificed, I do see him selling those, because what's the point? You know, might as well sell those and cash out or whatnot, convert them to Hex, pump Hex even higher on the PulseChain maybe, or even on the Ethereum chain, and also just hold all the Hex that got sacrificed. So everybody that sacrifices Hex, I think is going it's going to be stored safely to where it's not going to get dipped down, or you're not going to see a $200,000 USD value sell every few hours like how we have been. So that's that. Do I see Hex at 25 cents after the sacrifice phase? That's hard to tell. I mean, it just really depends. So, based on April, so Hex did a 10x in April 2020. It was more than a 10x, but just to kind of keep it round down, Hex did a 10x in April of 2020. If Hex does that again, which it probably will, it's going to blow past 25 cents. I think the next 10x was 70-ish cents, 75 cents. So it could very well get over 25. My next few levels that I had mapped out were the 11 cent range, the 13 cent range, the 17 cent range, and the 25 cent range. I do have previous videos if you want to go see how I found those levels. They're on my actual YouTube channel. If somebody wants to, let me pop that. My YouTube channel is, I don't post many videos on there. I just kind of get on this Discourse Syndicate, because I can't do too many streams doing technicals, because there's not much to talk about. If I talk about this more than once a week, I don't have too much to go over. Like I did a technical stream 3 days ago, and I kind of talked about everything already, so it was kind of too quick, right? But YouTube is Jenkinz Crypto. I have a few videos on there a while ago, while we were like 3.5 pennies, 5 pennies, talking about those levels, and all the levels are being hit right now. So go watch those. If you have questions, just reach out to me. I'm on Twitter too. Yeah, so go look at those videos on Twitter or on YouTube, and you'll see exactly why I have us going to 13 cents, 17 cents, 25 cents, at least this year. But the next big impulse probably blows right past that. Like I said, the next 10x is 70 cents. So that's that. You're going through staking withdrawals, waiting for Pulse. Anyone else? Yeah, so if you mean that by like you really want to stake your Hex, and you're just not doing it for the sacrifice, I'm in the exact same boat as you. I see all this liquid Hex I've been accumulating. I'm like, man, why is it not staked? I could have staked it like a month ago for just a month and got another T share or so for at least a month, right? But it's just, you just never know, because once it drops, it drops. And you don't want to be staked for 3 days and then watch the sacrifice phase start in the middle of that 3 days and miss out on the first day. Day one all in. So based on the data that we have now and the information that we have now, I think so. I think he's kind of doing it with the bonding curve, to where like the people that are day one are going to get the most bang for their buck. They're going to get the most X coin or Pulse token for their sacrifice dollar value. So as of right now, yeah, I think the best time to get in is day one, as opposed to Hex. I think we learned that if you got in day one, a lot of people kind of dumped it, and it was better to get in like day 25 to 30. I don't think Richard Hart's going to do that a second time, so I think he's really going to incentivize the earlier sacrificers or investors or whatnot. How to buy P-Hex after Pulse launch? I just think you're just going to go, if you have MetaMask, you just switch the network to the Pulse network instead of the Ethereum mainnet. Just switch that one button. You're on the PulseChain network, then you just buy, either P Ethereum, PETH, and probably convert it the same way, or he might have a bridge that converts it. Who knows? But it's probably the exact same way, the exact same function. You just change a setting in your MetaMask. 50 to 75% of my sacrifice bag will be converted into P-Hex. So that's interesting. It depends, because it depends on what you mean by that. Because if your sacrifice bag is like literally what you're sacrificing, that's gone, and you're gonna, in theory, get Pulse token for that. If you mean you're gonna take that Pulse token and turn it into P-Hex, I mean, buying Hex anywhere is not a bad idea, but Pulse token, don't underestimate Pulse. What if you get Pulse at the cheapest price it'll ever be, and it does 25% of what Hex did? I mean, who knows? So, I think the big thing for people that are getting to sacrifice phase, I don't like, the same way I talked about, don't look at Hex as like a short-term thing. Don't treat it like every other crypto. Don't treat Pulse like that either. Because who knows, with the potential of Pulse and how much more clear and clean it is than Ethereum itself, it could take over Ethereum. If ETH 2.0 does take 2-3 years, PulseChain could just come and just replace it, and no one's going to have a need for it. And what happens if Pulse is the new Ethereum, but a better version of that, the same way Hex is like a better Bitcoin, you know? So if you do get Pulse tokens, just it's not financial advice, but just don't be so quick to convert those into whatever coin. If it isn't into something, put it into Hex by all means, right? But don't underestimate the potential of Pulse, you know? The same way people that had Bitcoin early on, you know, they sold it before it got to 1,000 or 10,000. And next, you know, they missed on a 60K Bitcoin. Don't make the same mistake that a lot of people made already in crypto. You know, smart men learn from their own mistakes. Wise men learn from the mistakes of other people. Just don't miss out on millions by taking thousands. You know, quick money's never the route. You know, if it comes quick, it'll go just as quick as long as you carry yourself that way. So just don't be that way. But, so yeah, so buy more, let's see what we got. I'm gonna check a few more comments and then see what we got. What's up, Hex Machine? Now, welcome to the stream, my friend. See you on Twitter out there holding it down for the Hex community. I want to say it was you. Were you the one that got the response from Mark Cuban? I could be very wrong, but I want to say it was you or someone. Mark Cuban had Hex in his Ethereum wallet, and he never addressed it. But now Richard Hart talked about how it 10x'd, and I want to say it was you that asked Mark Cuban, like, was someone sent it to him? And he's like, yes. So Mark Cuban's eyes are on Hex, ladies and gentlemen. The whales are getting prepared to get in. The whales already know about PulseChain. Richard Hart is very clear about that. A lot of people know about PulseChain, so it's a matter of time before it comes about Hex. See what we got, JG here. Liquid Hex is burning in my pocket, so I completed my staking layer in the meantime, adding more capital on launch of Sacrifice. Going to be more exciting than the Kentucky Derby once the gate. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. So usually watching charts isn't fun because they just take so long. I mean, Hex charts are fun because they move fast and they just go up and to the right. But I think this is going to be a fun one. This is like watching a sport now. This is just as exciting as watching a basketball game or a football game or a soccer game. Watching these charts, watching just this technology just develop, get released, new things come out in the world, PulseChain Hex. It's just a whole new breath of fresh air for the world. So I do agree. This is going to be fun. Sammy, hey Jenkins, I know you're a conservative guy. What do you think about Pulse? How many X in the first year? Wow, you just had to put me on the spot. So, what did Hex do its first year? 300-ish, 248, so like 352X in his first year. Richard Hart, I mean, when he talks about it, he talks as if you want to be surprised to see Pulse do the same thing, if not better. I would not. So this is tough because Hex is still Hex. Hex is the beast that it is. I don't see anything outperforming Hex. I don't see anything outperforming Hex, but I do see PulseChain being the one and only thing that can keep up. I can see conservatively the way I am, PulseChain doing probably half of what Hex did its first year, which is unbelievable. If you can do 10% of what Hex did its first year, you're in great shape. And not be a rug pull, because there's a lot of coins that do that, you know, 1 million X, and then they rug pull you literally a minute after. But for, I think PulseChain, we could see the same amount of potential. Would not be shocked to see it. No, actually, I would be shocked to see it outperform Hex in the grand scheme of things, because Hex just did so unbelievably well. But at the same time, it's Richard Hart's second go at it, creating a project, and he does talk about the PulseChain community is a lot bigger than the Hex community itself. There's about 20,000 people in the Hex community, in the Hex Telegram group right now, and it's been out for 18 months or so. And PulseChain, it's not even released yet, and there's already like 23,000 people in that chat. There's live stream, live conversations going 24/7. I think there's a massive community behind PulseChain. It's not just Hexicans; it's everybody on the Ethereum network. It's everyone that's in DeFi. They have their eyes peeled and open to PulseChain. So that's tough. I can't give you a multiplier number, but I will say, I'll say it'll do it'll do half of what Hex did its first year. Don't beat me up on that, because I can be shorting you guys. But yeah, so yeah, let's see, Pulse. Let me see. Oh, whoops, let me go back to where I was in the comments. Yeah, Pulse will most likely be on exchanges. If Pulse is on exchanges, exchanges, yes, there's a lot of variables that factor in. If Pulse does go on an exchange, I would not be shocked to see it outperform Hex, because it's going to be that great thing in crypto that everyone knows about right away. Then bam, it can just go nuts. So here's something to consider, and let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. But let's say PulseChain, and who knows what the price will be, but let's just say if we're comparing it, PulseChain is Ethereum, a better version of Ethereum, right? More capacity, more throughput, less fees, fee burning. Proof of stake and everything. If PulseChain's kind of template to build itself off of is Ethereum, and Ethereum's at $2,200 right now, what if PulseChain does a fraction of that in terms of just price? So if based on the details we have now, which is not all the details, but based on the information we have now, if we're going to sacrifice whatever we sacrifice and we're getting PulseChain for $0, free Pulse, and it comes out with no value, and it does a quarter of what Ethereum does, and that's in the midst of a 50% drop, which is at $2,200, let's say $2,000, and PulseChain becomes $500 per coin. I mean, just imagine, what if PulseChain just starts off trading at dollars right away and we're getting it for less than that? I guess by default that does beat Hex. So I mean, it's just too hard to predict. We just don't know what the price is going to be. We don't know if PulseChain is going to have a price like Hex's, where there's so many decimals before you get your first digit, or if it's just going to kind of shoot out at dollars, kind of like how Ethereum did. I think Ethereum started at like 70, 88 cents or something. So a lot of variables. And yeah, if PulseChain is on exchanges and whatnot, and there's an easier on-ramp straight from cash, and it is being promoted to the public, I mean, by that alone is gonna kind of just make it probably start off hotter than Hex started off. But all in all, I don't see anything outperforming Hex. Hex is still the greatest thing, because let's talk 5 years from now, right? 5 years from now, I do think that Hex will be at least in the top 3 big. Oh yeah. Let me show you guys nomics before. Let me show you guys some information real quick. Before I say this. So let's go to nomics real quick. Look at the market caps and performances. Let me make this big. So Bitcoin, obviously the number 1 coin in the world. Ethereum, number 2. Hex is number 5 in the world as is before the gates open, right? In 3 to 5 years, Hex will 110% be in the top 3. The only reason why Tether is holding strong at 62 billion is because, stable coins, they hold their value in the bear market. People take their coins outside of, moving coins that are volatile, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and whatnot, put it into stable coins. When the bull market starts, Tether's going down. It'll probably fall at the top 10. So it's not even a real crypto, I guess. So by nature, we're already moving to number 4. BNB, we're literally 2 million away. We were ahead of BNB for the longest time. And this is 1 candlestick away. This is 1 whale buy-in to go up there. So we're going to be top 3 by the end of the year. I mean, probably in like a month, probably in like a month or two. But if we're talking 3 years down the line, Hex will be top 3. But 3 to 5 years down the line, Hex will. I do see it. We're going to see a juggle of the top 5 coins. We'll see Bitcoin's not going to be the number 1 coin in 5 years. Bitcoin will be bouncing around the top 5. Ethereum will probably pass it up. Ethereum's probably the first coin to pass up Bitcoin, but then I do see Hex passing up both of those just because it makes too much sense. But if I'm going to talk about the top 3 coins in 5 years, I would say that we're going to see Hex, we're going to see Bitcoin, and we're going to see PulseChain as the top 3 coins in all of crypto. Once the smoke kind of settles, and then about 5 years or so, those will be the top 3 coins. Did I say Ethereum? Ethereum, Hex, and PulseChain. I did not mean to include Bitcoin, if that's what I said. Bitcoin will be bouncing around the top 5. Bitcoin's always going to be there. It's kind of like a gold reserve. But like gold, I mean, gold, it already made its move up, and now it's just floating around kind of where it's at. Gold is at the same price it was at about 10 years ago. Bitcoin, we might look back in 10 years and be like, oh, it's up 2x what it was 10 years ago, or 3x maybe. Like 100,000 Bitcoin, I wouldn't be shocked to see that, and that's kind of it, Like when Bitcoin's at 50K, what incentive do you have? If you put money into it, you need 100K just to get a 2x. When Hex 14 cents which is right around the corner, will get you that. But what I was saying in that, I do see Pulse and Hex being in the top 3 of coins in about 5 years from now. But even so, I don't see Pulse. Hex on the grand, just because Pulse is more for user experience and better network to operate on. Hex is more of like, you want to save your money and earn interest on your money. You do this, you get your T shares. In 5 years, it might be B shares, just billion shares, or M shares, just million shares, whatever it is. People are going to get their hands on whatever share they can get. And it's still, if Hex is at $1, you put your money in for price to go up. Yeah, but people that don't really care about the volatility of crypto, they just want to get in to kind of just have like a way to save their money, stay true to something, and earn interest. Hex is the one and only thing that does that. So still, when the smoke settles, I do see Hex still being the greatest performing asset in the history of man. Pulse could probably be a good second. I mean, Bitcoin, we can't deny what, like 6 million X up what it was at the beginning. Bitcoin has went up crazy too. Bitcoin already did its thing. So shout out to Bitcoin. I'm not here to bash Bitcoin, but I am very clear when I say that in 2021, Bitcoin is not the best investment anymore. A 30,000 Bitcoin, you buy Bitcoin at 30K, you need 90K just to see a 3X. And how long is that going to take? How much you need the bull market to come around? We're probably going to float around this bear market for a long time before we see that. We might see it drop to, 9, 15, 20K before it even goes up. So Bitcoin did its thing. We honor you that. Thank you for your service. But there's a lot of new coins in town. The world develops, the world, adjusts. So you have to adapt. And that's what Hex and Pulse is. Okay. We still don't know how many pulse per dollar of sacrifice, right? Even I don't know. That is what I don't know. I wish I knew that. I wish I knew, but ignorance is bliss in this situation. Let's just know that we're gonna get a lot for what you give is what you get. Just put it that way, and you will be a-okay. Pulse is going to be a great investment in 3 years. If you're getting in first day of sacrifice phase, you're ahead of the curve. If you know about PulseChain right now, if you even know what PulseChain is or the word, you are ahead of the curve. So don't worry. You can put in $1 and make more than what somebody putting in $1,000 could in 5 years. Who knows? So don't worry. Let's see. Let me try to catch up on these comments. Yeah, totally used to say. Pulse is going to moon after launch. There is zero inflation. Sorry, when I click on the comment to show, it kind of blocks out for a second. Pulse is going to moon after. Oh, by the way, welcome to the stream, David. Pulse is going to moon after launch. There is zero inflation. Plus, with the starting price well below 1 cent and Pulse fee burning, Pulse will deflate so fast with just 5 cent transactions. Hold your Pulse. I agree 100% with that. The only thing about that kind of pitch that it doesn't concern me necessarily. It's just that I've seen that so many times. If you go to the Binance Smart Chain and you see all those new coins that come out with like the Safe Moon or Safe Mars, all those weird coins, they come out like, oh, we start out with this, trillions of dollars of supply and we burn the supply every day and it's going to go down so fast. Like we've seen it so many times. Do I think that Pulse is going to finally be that one that does it? Yes. But it just doesn't fully sell me on that just yet with that specific pitch. But everything else aside of that, the zero inflation, the fee burning, 5 cent transactions, 100%, that alone is going to pump it, because if you're working with any ERC or any PRC token, there's going to be a bridge to kind of connect the two also. It's just going to make too much sense for people to operate on the Pulse network. By the way, actually, Hex is starting to move while we're on stream. So I'm going to hop back over to Hex real quick while I'm looking through the comments and show you guys some stuff, because we might be getting exactly what I want. And I hate to be that guy that's like, Hex pumps. That's all it does. I hate to be the guy that's like, oh, we might see it move down before it goes up, because that's not what we want to hear. But we look back, a week or two from when I say these things, it always turns out being, a good thing for us. And it's a discount. But let me just try to catch up on a couple of comments, and I'll show you what's going on in Hex right now as we speak, because it's moving. So this is good. I know, Sammy, you had to put me on a spot like that. You always ask me for those numbers. Hey, the first stream I did with you and Blue Bum, on the Australian channel, I gave you guys some numbers. That 777, I know you guys remember that. I gave you guys the 777 to 8.4 when you asked me, and that's exactly what happened. So, you got enough out of me so far. I'll give you fair analysis on Hex. I can't do that PulseChain stuff, especially if Pulse does start under a penny. Who knows? Like, we have to figure out the starting price first and foremost before we go to the next step. Let's see. What else do we got here? So Pulse has to outperform Pulse has to outperform EHEX and PHEX combined to be worth the sacrifice, depending on SAC ratio. No. The sacrifice is going to be based on what we know now. It doesn't have to outperform EHEX and PHEX. It just has to do a little bit. It just has to go up. I mean, I guess that's a bad way of saying it. So Hex, we're up 1,000x in, the first 18, 19 months. If Pulse does a quarter of that, what's that, 250x? I mean, you're still going to get 250x. If Pulse goes from like 0.00, or let's say it goes from 1 penny to 10 pennies right away, that's a 10x, right? You're going to get 10x of whatever you're given for free. Are we going to see a 10x on Hex that quick? We might, because Hex does that. But in theory, is Hex going to 10x as quick as it used to 10x? Probably not. 10x off 7 cents to 70 cents. I do think that will happen eventually, maybe this year. But I think the chances of seeing a very, very cheap PulseChain doing a 10 to 20x is a lot greater than the chance of anything else doing a 10 to 20x, especially in the midst of a bear market. So it doesn't necessarily have to outperform E or P Hex. It just has to just get started, hold it, and just ride it up. So yeah. Okay. Let's see what else we got. What's up, Bear Bizarba? Uniswap liquidity pools. Yeah, so I mean, if you guys, I don't pay too much attention to the liquidity pools, but I do know all the different versions have different amounts and whatnot. A lot of it is backed by USDC. We're kind of separating ourselves from Ethereum as we speak, but yeah, I'm not the perfect guy to get into that. I stick kind of to where the price is, kind of like just the basic fundamentals about that. What's this? Great content, man. Great to see you regularly streaming on the Discourse Syndicate. I appreciate your insights and honesty. Yeah, I appreciate you guys, and that's just what I'm here for. I'm a normal guy, just like every one of you. I'm not the smartest man in the room. I'm not the smartest man in the chat. A lot of you, everybody here has value to provide. I'm just one of the many, and what I'm here to do is give you guys, a clear view of how to look at the chart and what to expect. Pull the data on the actual price and kind of see where price is going and what to expect next. With that being said, let me just show you guys what Hex is doing real quick. Oh, it already wicked a little bit. Like I said, we might be seeing this 3-wave pattern down, 1, 2, 3. If you guys watched the beginning of the stream, I want to see us touch 6.4 pennies before we go up. I did say right now is a key level. If we respect this red line right here, which it has been many times in the past, we're going to just create a mini 5-wave pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. It's getting a little messy. But it looks like we are starting to rip through. This could just be a wick, because look, we had this wick. At one time, this was a whole candle. It came back up. So we had many wicks under it. This could very well be a wick, but price is looking like it's pushing down a little bit. So if price pushes down, don't be rattled. Don't be worried. Don't be shocked. Don't be surprised. This is home for me right now. This is home for me. 6.5 penny range is home. So Hex is making that move right now. Let me check a few more comments. I kind of fell back on the comments, so I'm going to kind of miss on some of these for you guys. Sorry about that. I think just 1.5 years or less to be in the top 3 honestly could be in this next year. Everything about Hex is happening at faster rates than the space has ever seen. You're right. You're 100%. So if you're talking about Hex being top 3 in 1.5 years, yeah, it could be 1.5 months. What happens when PulseChain drops? Say it drops tomorrow, where do we go, right? 1.5 years. Not you're being conservative like me. I'm the conservative guy that kind of gives the low estimates. We'll definitely be top 3 before that time, but I do like that take. So very, very well said. Okay, let's see what else. You guys I'm showing all your guys' comments because you guys have a lot of valuable information. So, and people too, the people that are commenting and getting engaged on this, reach out to me on Twitter. I'd be more than glad to set up a stream with all you guys. If you guys aren't streamers, you don't have to be a streamer to get on a stream and have a good, community talk. Like I said, I'm a normal guy, just like every one of you guys. I'm a normal person, just doing what I do. I'm a big time Hexican, just like everyone else. So we all have good value to add. If you guys want to just chit chat, talk, get on one of my streams on my personal channel, let's do it. This is all good content, good information. We all have something to learn off each other, and this is the time for us to all learn off each other while the sacrifice phase is still not here. But you're going to want your Pulse coin from Sacrifice because the price discovery on Hex/Pulse pair become a P-Hex whale. I agree, 100%. I agree. Yeah. So if you're sacrificing as for one purpose, for one reason only is to get that Pulse coin, and you're just to hold that Pulse coin. I know you're going to be able to stake Pulse. It's not going to reward it the same way X will, but you will be able to stake it. So you might, if you could get any reward off staking, do it. But if not, just hold it and just stake it to force yourself to not touch it. But hold that Pulse. Do not sell. Shout out to you, Purple, by the way. Welcome to the stream. You're hoarding as much pulse as possible. Remember T-share price. Sorry, it's loading. Rated Hex. I'm hoarding as much pulse as possible. Remember, T-share price will be the same as E-Hex side once it launches. So locking in T-share now is going to be a good gameplay. Yeah, and that's what I kind of think. And I kind of compare it to the BNB price. I do see like how you have the Binance coin, or you have BNB and BSC. So the Binance coin and then the Binance Smart Chain coin. They're two separate coins, two separate values, but they're all within like $1 or $2 off each other. If I show you guys nomics, they should both be on here actually. Let me share my nomic screen with you guys. Nope. Here we go. So we got the Binance coin, BNB. We're trading at $284 right now. The Binance USD coin. So the Smart Chain coin and then just the Binance coin. Oh, it's not the right one. Hang on. Or it's with the Binance Smart Chain. Is it not on here? Maybe it's not. But if you go on the actual Binance Smart Chain, you will see that BSC is the same as like the BNB. They're like $2 to $3 off each other at all times. So if EHEX and PHEX both get close to the same price and you're getting everything duplicated, that's a double. That's doubling your portfolio. And if you double your stakes, if you have T-shares getting doubled, I mean, man, it's so tough. That's why I say the only reason to hold liquid Hex is strictly to sacrifice. If you're not financial advice, but if you're holding liquid Hex right now and you're not planning on sacrifice it, stake it. Get those T-shares, duplicated in the PulseChain, because if and when the price does match and become the same exact rate, you double your money. And what happens if the PHEX on the Pulse network does outperform EHEX? Then you're more than doubling. You're making way more. It's the T-shares that really matter. If you can just double, if you can just double the amount of money you're earning on interest, don't hesitate, ladies and gentlemen. What's up, Blaine? Welcome to the show. Let's see. OX Will, welcome. I think you're on my stream live the other night. Excited to hear that new beat you were working on last night. Yeah, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up. I've been on for an hour 15. This is kind of long. So I'm going to wrap it up, but I'm going to give you guys an outro. So if you guys do not know about me, I make beats. I've been doing beats longer than I've been doing crypto. So what I do, I go on Twitch every now and then. I make beats with Bay. She's usually here right behind me over my shoulder. But we make beats. We chill. We have fun. We engage with everybody. And yeah, so I'll probably be doing that in the next few days. But we get on, we make beats live. So I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to give you guys an outro, the last beat we were working on together in this last stream. So I'll stand here for a few seconds. Share screen. Share audio. Bam, bam, bam. All right, let's see. If you guys have any questions or concerns, hit me up on what's it called? Twitter. If not, you guys have a good night. Enjoy yourselves and enjoy the music. Tune into my channel to hear us make beats. I'll be making new beats live on camera for everybody and myself. Here's what we had the other night. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.